Hey guys, welcome back to Drive Spark. I'm Vedant Jouhari and today I'm starting with two very different vehicles. This is the Switch IeV3 and IeV4. Now I'm going to be telling you guys what these vehicles have to offer, mainly the technical aspects, so stay tuned for the full video. Now if we look at the design, both of these vehicles pretty much look the same, except for the IeV4 is a lot more larger than the IeV3, and due to it being larger, it can take a much larger payload as well. But before I get to that, let me quickly show you around the IeV3 to see what specifications and what this vehicle has. So as this is a commercial vehicle, let's start with the rear and let's start with the point that's most important, the bed. Now what this can hold, how big this is, well, I'm just going to tell you guys that. So first off, in terms of dimensions, it's 8 feet long, 5 feet wide and 1.6 feet tall. That's 1 feet and 6 inches tall. And for the payload, well, this can hold up to 1.25 tons. And on top of that, this is an FSD, a fixed side door, which basically means only at the rear can this be accessed. It can't be accessed from either of the sides. Now furthermore, on the IeV3 at the rear, we can also get a container, basically making this closed and not leaving it exposed. And this can take up to 270 cubic feet of space. Now with 270 cubic feet, you can store a whole lot of items and probably even reach a 1.25 ton payload capacity. The gross weight of this vehicle comes in at around 2,500 kgs. Again, it needs to be a little heavier to take in that extra payload. Also, both these vehicles are electric. And before I show you guys the interior, let me show you how to open and close this. Well, at the rear, we have these two levers. So all we got to do is pull it up, push it in, and the same thing for the other side. And that's about it. This is the only way we can access the rear on the IeV series. So now coming to the motor and the battery of this, well, that's located right here. So the battery that we get is a 25.6 kilowatt hour PMS motor that can put out 40 kilowatts and 190 newton meters of torque. Now this is for the IeV3, and on top of that, this comes with a leaf spring suspension at the front and rear. And now the charging socket that we have is also located right here, and this is the charging socket for the IeV3 series. Now moving to the interiors of this. So getting into the interior gets a little inconvenient as the driver misses a grab handle right here. So however, there is a footstep, but again, it is a little offset, so it does feel a little awkward getting into this. But once we're in, we're seated quite high. Our field of vision is really good. Steering, we get a power steering on this. Again, just so much more convenient. And this is a gear selector. It's not a manual, it's an automatic. And we have reverse, neutral, drive and sport. Now to how to use this, well, you got to start the vehicle on neutral, and after that you got to hit the brake to change it from whichever. You can change from drive to sport on the fly. However, if you want to get from drive to neutral, you will have to stop, come back to neutral and then go into reverse. Now apart from that, this is the interior. This is a two-seater cabin. We have a window at the rear and we have a glove box located right here. So we also get a phone holder right here. So again, just another convenient feature on this. Then we also get a digital instrument cluster with a whole lot of readings such as our power, charge, speed, basically all the necessary information you need. So as it's an electric, let's talk about the charging. Well, we can do 0 to 80% in 55 minutes with the DC charger on this. And with the regular 15 amp charger, it takes 8 hours 15 minutes for a full charge on the IeV3. Now let's jump to the IeV4 and I'll show you what that has to offer. So now the vehicle behind me is the Switch IeV4. As you can see, it's a lot more larger than the previous one. Now again, starting off with the rear, because that's what's most important in a commercial vehicle. First off, the dimensions of this: 9 feet in length, 5 feet in width, and 1.7 feet in height. Now the payload capacity of this is 1.7 tons, and this can also come with a closed container that can hold up to 340 cubic feet of storage, and the total weight of this vehicle comes in at 3,490 kgs, just under 3.5 tons. Now again, to open this, it's the same as the IeV3. You just got to open both these levers, pull it down, and that's your access. Again, this is a fixed side door. This is an FSD, so you cannot access it from either side. It's only from the rear, even on the IeV4. Now coming to the powertrain and the suspension setup on this, well, again, the complete powertrain is located underneath the bed of this vehicle. Again, it comes with a leaf spring suspension at the front and rear. So in terms of battery, we get a 32.2 kilowatt hour battery that puts out 60 kilowatts and 213 Newton meters of torque. So that is a powertrain. Again, as I said, leaf spring in the front and rear, and this is again the charging socket for the IeV4, located at the same place, just a different way to open and close. We'll go to the inside and I'll tell you a little more about that. So now to enter the IeV4, as you can see, it's a lot more convenient. We have a footstep located at the same place, and this comes with a grab handle, so it just aids getting in a lot more comfortable. Now once we're seated inside this, we're seated so much more higher than the IeV3. Our field of vision again is really good. Our interiors are a whole lot more premium than the IeV3. We get a dual tone finish and leather seats, and this is a 3-seater, so driver plus 2. We also get seat belts for both the passengers. On top of that, we get a very nice dual tone finish interior on the dash as well, with this beige and brown finish. Again, this is a gear selector, reverse neutral drive sport. It works the same way as the IeV3. You can switch from drive to sport on the fly. However, from drive to reverse, you have to stop, get back to neutral, and then reverse. On this, we also get 2 type A charging sockets, one 1 amp and one 2.1. Then on top of that, we get a few storage options right here. But however, this misses that phone holder that was there on the IeV3. But except on both the edges of the seats, we get this small pouch over here where you can store some of your small belongings. On top of that, other storage options we get is a glove box here, and on the doors we get a small bottle holder on either side. So again, for charging, it works the same as the IeV3. From 10 to 80%, it takes 55 minutes. However, from a full charge with a 15 amp socket takes 8 hours, which is 15 minutes quicker than the IeV3. Then yeah, so all in all, that was a quick run through of the Switch IeV3 and IeV4. So we got to drive both these vehicles around 3 different tests. One, a high-speed section in the Ashok Leyland track. Another one was a gradability test, and the third one was a steering test to see how sharp the steering is. So let me take you section by section. For the high-speed test, we had a speed limit of 60. We couldn't cross that as we're driving inside a plant. So keeping the speed limit at 60, we had a few banking corners, we had a few straights, and both of them handled really well. Acceleration was decent. Sports mode was a lot more fun than drive, obviously. And around the banking turns, it did perform well. However, the IeV3 was twitching a little bit, but the IeV4 was extremely stable. Now on the gradability test, we had a 10.6 gradient and an 8-degree gradient to drive up on and drive down. So on the 10.6 degree gradient, both of these couldn't take it on drive from a standstill. We had to put it into sport. However, on sport also, once we stopped in the middle of the gradient, the hill hold assist kicked in, keeping both these vehicles stationary without any acceleration or brake. And finally, as soon as we got back on the accelerator, it would start driving up with a little strain. Now coming downhill, there's no hill descent control on either of these, so we had to use our brakes. But again, it did not complain, it did not struggle, it came down quite well. In fact, on the IeV3, we came down the 10.6 degree gradient reverse. We came down the opposite way and it still didn't complain. The vehicle handled it really, really well. Let me just tell you, this IeV4 is a lot more than what it looks like. It's a really fun vehicle. So we took it, we were going in circles, throwing it around from left to right. We had an empty ground to play around with. So both of them actually performed really well. It was extremely stable. It was quite sticky. And plus it did have a payload. It had some weight at the rear. So it wasn't like you were just carrying empty weight. But all in all, they both performed really well, outdid expectations. So all in all, this was a quick run through of the Switch IeV3 and IeV4. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do let us know your thoughts of these two vehicles in the comment section below. And also let us know if you're planning to pick up one of these. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. My name is Vedant Jouhari, signing out.